I wasn't sure I'd ever have a dedicated shop, but building it was a great distraction during my treatment for prostate cancer. 2020 was best summed up with this 3D printed Christmas ornament I made. It was mentally a pretty difficult time, and since it was in the middle of the pandemic, it was pretty much the most expensive possible time to take on a construction project. But we started, and it progressed. With a brief side quest to play arcade for my son's birthday, it slowly came into shape. We built the shop in the back corner of our yard, and the size was constrained by the location of some mature trees that we didn't want to disturb. The footprint of the shop is 10 feet by 17 feet, pretty much the size of a one-car garage. The crazy thing is, now you can barely see the shop from our back deck. I need to do some spring cleaning. It's almost summer. Let's do that and take a shop tour. Let's start in the corner. This first cabinet is the Bosch router table. I don't use it a lot, so it doesn't have a dedicated place that's out all the time. At the bottom of this cabinet is a combination belt and disc sander. Next tool is the planer. It's the DeWalt 735. This is the tool that most makes me want to have a larger shop. I can almost plane an 8-foot board, but only if I move everything out of the way and put the planer in the exact center of the shop. Stuck like baby in the corner is my 10-inch Rikon bandsaw. I bought this one used, and it took a lot of work to get the fence and table to be square, but it works pretty well now. I wish it had a larger resaw capacity, since ripping down wood for laser cutting or CNC work would be nice. It's a good starter bandsaw though. Above the planer is my random collection of battery power tools. I have a combination of DeWalt and Milwaukee, and battery chargers for both mounted on the wall. I made a lot of laser cut or 3D printed holders for things in the shop, and I've pushed the amount of vertical storage as far as possible. This wall also has my out of control maxed out capacity wood storage. That's gonna need a sort pretty soon. It's always a juggling act to move the tools all around. Next up is the chop saw. It's a 12-inch DeWalt compound miter saw. Notice the blue tape everywhere? That's my attempt to stay organized and hopefully be able to find a tool when I'm looking for it. The toolbox under the miter saw and the toolbox to the left are full of hand tools, each with a label on the drawer letting me know what's inside. The organization of the drawers also lets me indulge in the making of tiny boxes, which I enjoy. I store my clamps on the wall, both down low and up high for the longer clamps. And for smaller clamps, I have a spot on the side of the CNC cart. My CNC is an X-Carve by Inventables. I've had it for like 8 years. When I bought it, it basically came completely disassembled. Literally bags of nuts and bolts. It took a while to put together. This machine was one of the big reasons I wanted to build a shop. Before this, the X-Carve was in our one-car attached garage. My home office is above the garage, and our laundry is also in the garage. CNC carvings take a while to run, and the machine is very loud. Combine that with the fact that long CNC carves would cause a fine layer of dust to float everywhere in the garage, including the laundry. It made me not want to use it very much. So this has a dedicated spot in the shop, and unfortunately it's also a very conveniently large flat surface. It collects a lot of random stuff, and the shelves above are now filled with way too many scraps. So I'll take a break and do a little cleanup. So now I have a usable machine and much cleaner shelves. A few of those scraps were worth keeping but needed to be milled, so we'll use the little Rikon joiner to flatten the edge. I have a lot of white oak that came from a tree in our yard. I've been saving it like it was made of gold. I also have these boards that I think must have come from a pallet. Looks like one is poplar and the rest are maybe Douglas fir. The next machine is the table saw. It's a Bosch job site saw that I made a rolling cart with a custom section below the saw to help catch and contain the loads of dust. Last machine on this side is a jet spindle sander. I found it at an estate sale and I've not used it enough yet to justify the impulse buy. The wall storage here is a big cabinet for screws and tiny drawers for random bits and fasteners. This wall also has 2 workmate folding tables in the corner, which I sometimes use with a wooden top and sometimes solo. My shop has metal double doors, and I like to use magnets to take full advantage. I usually store my apron and other PPE here on the door, so it's always convenient coming in the door. These boxes are 3D printed experiments after I got some super strong magnets from a friend. I always have too much scrap piled against the second door, but I'm working on that every day. This next wall has paper towels, gloves, a TV, and lots of random stuff that I pinned to the wall. In the window I have the wall art I made from marbles and the prototype of my hanging light bulb lamp. Tool-wise I have my air compressor, nail guns, and the track for my sort of track saw, and the festival domino. That was another impulse buy, but I feel like that one will eventually pay itself off. On the counter, that's the window for the tiny house bathroom being built, and it's sitting on the future tiny house butcher block kitchen counter. Underneath the butcher block is a scrap granite countertop that was incredibly heavy to bring in, but man is it great for glue-ups. Dry glue just scrapes right off. The 2 tools on the floor in the corner are about dust control. I have a jet dust collector and a shop vac on a custom cart that I made with a Dust Deputy cyclone separator. The wall cabinets store paint, glue, caulk, finishes, all the consumables down low with some rarely used tools on the top with an air filter. And that brings us back to where we started. I love my shop. It's constantly changing, but it's a pretty happy place to be. Thanks for stopping by. See you in the next one.